Hello, music makers. We have got a beautiful song by Cat Stevens, Morning Has Broken, and I'm putting it in the beginner class because the tempo is nice and slow. We're going to go really slow because some of the chords are more challenging. There is an E minor. You'll find the chart in the description box. So I looked up online, as I said in my metronome video, but you may not have watched it, is you can find the beats per minute for any song, so the tempo, and like many songs, especially this one, various artists do it at different speeds. So I've set my metronome up, and you might be able to see this. It's the one that I talked about in the video, and it's a combination of tuner, that has a microphone, so I can use it for this, and then there's also a plug-in, but it isn't a clip-on. As you can see, it doesn't clip on, but it has the plug-in for amplified instruments, and then it has a microphone, so I could use it for this. I've set it to, on your metronomes, you want to make sure that you're setting it to the beats per minute. So the nice thing about this chart that I thought would be helpful is it is giving you music notation. So when you see it, don't think, oh, it's all this information. It's really the nice thing about music notation is how precise it is. It gives you so much information, and so a lot of people really love that. And once you understand the language a little bit, and this is a good one, you can see the info at the bottom about where this person who was really nice and made all these ones has put a lot of these other songs at his website down there. You can explore that. So just in terms of the music notation, a wee bit of information on that. You've got that clef, excuse me, which I talked about as a G clef, and short version, the fancy circle circles the line that's G, so it's called a G. It's a fancy looking G, so it's telling you it's a G clef. And once you know that that's a G note, then everything is just G, A, B, C after that on the lines and spaces. Then you have what's called the time signature, which is just kind of a fancy word for how many beats in one of those measures. So in this case, there's 3. And the bottom part of the fraction, which a lot of people ignore, and it's a little bit confusing or complicated, is that every a quarter note gets 1 beat. So sometimes if you've got an 8 at the bottom, like 6, 8, an 8th gets 1 beat. So that's just 1, 2, 3, 1. So chords, we'll go through that. My instrument is in tune, but in terms of the metronome, and I think I've either shut it off or it's automatic. I'm going to get it to play. I've got it set at the tempo that Cat Stevens did it at, and that is 134 beats a minute. So we're going to get it to start. If I hold this button, oh no, I've turned it off again because I might need new batteries. Yeah, it's good, it should play. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, morning has broken. 1, and beat 1 is being indicated by the red 1. Like the first one. So that's quite fast. And then the slowest I saw it perform, now I'm going to take the degrees down, and you'll hear, the slowest I saw online was 56 by a different performer. So we're going to play it that slow, if not a bit slower. And learning tempo, you can go very slow. Like this is 56 beats per minute, so slightly less than a ticking clock. Okay, so just have you a little bit more information about that and metronome use. I'm going to shut it off, and we're going to do our usual stuff. I would play with it, but I've just got so much other things that I wanted to do as well. So check in. Do your comfort thing with your body scan and your breath, your positioning, holding in here. You've got the strum finger, so you're very delicate, Think about also flicking. You've got your fingernail to protect, or you're using your thumb. And this is, you can practice being very light and beautiful in your strums. And one thing that I tell people, that as you get better and better, and not to worry about it as a beginner, but that you want to make sure that the melody, which is usually being sung, is heard more above the sound of the ukulele. So we get that as we get more control over time. So chords, C, this is in the key of C, and then you've got the D minor. All of them are pictured right above the spot. So I always call that F with a twist. So you put your F on and then the D note under it. Then you all know G7 as beginners, most likely, up to F and then down to C. So always something in the front holding things. Then you get to the second line and you've got E minor. Now I would have this one here and then do the walk up in the staircase shape and then up to A minor. You've got D7. Now some people would just drop that one down there. I always just do the whole switch around and then G. Now you don't have to do both G and G7 in those two bars, but you can. It sounds pretty, but you could stay on either one of them. Right? And then it carries on. And there's A minor down on the third line. And then D7. I think we've covered everything else. Okay, so vocal warm up. You're checking in, relax the belly so your lungs can drop down and your diaphragm is loose so the lungs can fill more. La, and that's just something you develop over time. La, dropping that muscle down and let your belly poof out. Big breath. Release any tension. Now let's listen to E. In tune. La, and back to C. La. I think it's a G, but I don't have the high G or the low G. I've got it over there, but I'm not going to grab that instrument. Okay, so I've already talked a bunch, so I'm going to just move into the song and you could do more vocal warm up. Always good to do a C scale, which I talked about in that video with the metronome. Okay, so one, actually, you know what? I'm going to set this and I'm going to listen to that because we've got our... There's the 56. 1, 2, and you sing without, as you can see in the notation, there's no chord above, so that would be without instrument. Morning has broke. There's our 1. Let me start that again. There's the red. Da. Has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. I can feel myself wanting to speed up. Praise for the sea. Praise for the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Praise for the Very good exercise for me. I don't know about you guys. 3, and then you got 2 beats back to the beginning, second verse. Sweet the rain, new fall, sunlit from 1, 2, 3, then like the fall on the first grass to praise for the sweetness of the wet garden. Spring complete verse. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning. Here's our staircase. One light, Eden saw play 2, 3, G7. Praise with the elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. There. Good. So you can see I was struggling, and that's a really good thing. I'm going to do more of that. So I appreciate anybody that wants to use the metronome, because as you could see, what's happening is that my brain is just struggling to stay with that. And the nice thing about the metronome, and probably all of them have that, is that eventually I could see myself being able to hear that different pitch of beat one, so it's slightly higher. Da, 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 2, 3. And then I was laughing because there was a person that I was teaching, and I had put the metronome on, and she in all earnestness had said that my batteries must be old because the metronome was broken or something, because it kept slowing down. And I always think of that because it's such a natural inclination to think that there's something wrong with the device rather than our timing, right? So it's very humbling. It's a wonderful thing to do, and eventually, if you did it enough and didn't shy away from doing it, you would see, you know, probably the downside would be that you would be that sort of person that uses the metronome, and everyone that didn't play accurately in rhythm would start to really get under your skin a little bit. So there's always a bit of pros and cons with that, and it's good to roll and just enjoy whatever's happening with whoever you're playing with. Okay, so I hope that you found that helpful. I certainly did. And if you have found it helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and pass this along. It is slightly more challenging for a beginner song, but we did it at that 56 beats per minute, and I think that especially with the chords right above where they're being played, and the 3 different verses right there, even though with the notation it can be a bit confusing to look at that, but just ignore all that and enjoy your playing of this beautiful song. And I thought that Cat Stevens had written this song, so I learned something else about how it was an Irish song that was mainly done in church. Beautiful song. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy it. See you next time. Bye for now.